Just got a question from a guy named Niven Rees on live stream, and he asks, where do you see your channel and the influence you have on YouTube in the next couple of years? He then asks even more positively and broadly, what kind of impact would you like to make? I'm going to give kind of a minimum answer, a medium answer, and a maximum answer. You know, the minimum answer, the minimum, you see what I mean? The minimum standards, the minimum expectations are important to keep in mind here. I was saying to my girlfriend the other day while walking down the street, I just said to her, you know, one of the differences between myself and a lot of other vegans on YouTube is that what I'm doing on YouTube right now is sustainable. It really is sustainable. I can keep doing this. I keep talking about vegan politics. I can keep doing book reviews. I keep talking about whatever books I happen to be reading. Keep talking about the languages I'm studying in my life, what's going on at university, and my career aspirations and this stuff. I can keep this going for 5 years. You know, at this pace and with this level of audience interaction and everything else, this is sustainable for me. So if you don't like what I'm doing, it's fine, but this is sustainable. And this relates to the questions about, you know, not having the comment section open on YouTube. It would not be sustainable for me. I can't take the time to go through and answer, you know, a kind of constant Q&A in the YouTube comment section. There are a lot of other things that YouTubers do to get attention that I can't do. And, you know, there are other channels I see, you know, actually flying to conferences, going to attend events in person. You know, I respect that. Or doing street interviews with strangers, face-to-face conversations. I see them doing a lot of things that for me would not be sustainable. I could not take the time to do that. I couldn't. If I were doing that on the channel for 1 month, then my channel would be blank for 6 months. You know what I mean? There'd be nothing new uploaded. So one of the basic parts of the answer is, I can keep doing the same thing. I can keep playing the same role within veganism and in terms of sharing my own life. And I do see that as tremendously positive. I mean, you guys know when this channel started, I was single. Now I have a girlfriend, and the girlfriend comes on my channel and chats me. Just got a request here on the live stream to make more videos about A Song of Ice and Fire. Song of Ice and Fire is a book series, and there's a TV series called Game of Thrones that's adapted from it. I can keep doing that. So I can keep sharing my life, both personal and political, on YouTube in this way. And, you know, to quote Joseph Stalin, quantitative build-up leads to qualitative change. You know, I can keep doing that with the low level of support I've got on Patreon, and it works. Now, when you ask what's possible, you know, what in the next 5 years would be possible, things would be different if I were simply getting more financial support through Patreon. If I were getting $1,000 a month instead of $200 a month, yeah, there would be the possibility for me to actually attend events in person. There'd be the possibility for me to actually do things and create things and, you know, even do fundraisers and what have you. You know, I got an invitation from another YouTuber just to go to her house and do a video with her. Yeah, it's maybe not the most productive use of time and money, but whether it's going to do that or going to actually visit some of the more successful vegan institutions, there's one based in Ireland. They started off as an animal sanctuary and then did the fundraising for an ad campaign. The ad campaign is known as Go Vegan World. I'd love to interview some of those people. I'd love to go and, you know, visit their offices and see what they're up to. And I have actually downloaded and looked at their financial reports to the extent I was able to. So I think I'm misremembering there. Anyway, I went through the charity listings and I was trying to research and get more information on them. Part of what we need to do as vegans is learn from successful examples of institutional organization, both vegan and non-vegan. You know, learn from what's been successful within our own movement, as well as, of course, learning from the examination of the failures. So I've said kind of minimum standard, medium standard, maximum standard. If I had either more time or more money, I would like to play more of a role that way in terms of active research. I do think about branching out the channel to do more contemporary politics. There used to be a channel, well, it still exists. There's a channel called The Young Turks, TYT, and they just do commentary on politics. The quality of that channel now is garbage. I mean, it's now a laughingstock, really, on YouTube. But the success that channel had, you know, is an indicative example. And I've seen some short-lived successes like it within Canada, where there were Canadian political discussion channels that came and went. So, you know, in terms of something that the medium level may not be sustainable for me, I could put way more time into YouTube and really start discussing current and ongoing politics not related to veganism. So, you know, my girlfriend has conversations with me about the current civil war in Syria, and she says to me, understandably, look, you know, this conversation we just had could be on YouTube. You could make a video about this, that, or the other thing we've just been talking about casually. And that is quite true. Whether it's politics of East Asia, like China, Japan, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, politics of the Middle East, West Asia, Iran, Iraq, etc., or politics of the United States foreign policy, politics within Canada, Canadian First Nations, there's definitely a medium level option where I could do more in bringing political content to YouTube, and talk about this stuff in a way that I think would be positive and productive for my channel in all moments, including bringing in new people who might be interested to see the material on veganism start my channel. So that's one way to go. I mean, in terms of the maximum, looking towards the future and what's positive, I don't know, man. I'm an ambitious person. But most of my ambitions right now are going into university education and some kind of conventional career path, even if I don't know what that is. So, if I were to start spending my time much more in the arts, if I was to buckle down and work on painting as a painter, creative fine arts, actually painting canvases, then I could imagine where YouTube, filming what's going on in my studio and what I'm working on, and even ultimately selling and auctioning my art, that could interact in a really positive way. But on the other hand, if I'm going to go back to school and get a master's degree, something really boring like Masters of Public Administration, Master of Political Science, it's hard to see a really positive interaction between what I'm doing on YouTube and what I'm doing in terms of research or 9-to-5 job. I'd also say, it is possible, I don't know my own financial situation, it is possible I'll get a straight-up Joe job, working behind the counter at Starbucks or what have you. And I don't know, probably if I'm in that situation, probably if I have a kind of boring, desk job or, grocery store job, bagging up groceries or something, probably that would lead me to spend more time and more energy on YouTube. Coming back to the phrasing of the question, though, part of the question definitely was of how I see my own role within the YouTube vegan demi-monde changing the next 5 years. Part of it changes just because of the passage of time. It's already a situation where I'm somebody who has memories of what was going on YouTube 3 years ago, and most of the new broadcasters don't. But, I've said this before at some length, leading by example is not leading at all. A lot of people have misconceptions of that. I don't see myself as being in a leadership role on YouTube. I don't see what I'm doing as providing leadership. And I guess the one thing that I'd really like to see change is, when I put up a book review, why can't there be 2 or 3 other channels reading the same book and then giving their own views on that book? We're talking about like books about politics of veganism and this kind of stuff. Why can't we have a bit more of a snowball effect with a few other channels that take themselves seriously in terms of talking about politics and the future of the movement? That would be really great to see. But, I've always said this about this channel. Talking to me on this channel, talking to me right now in this live stream, I'm going to get back to this, fundamentally it's the same as meeting me in a coffee shop and talking to me. You know what I mean? So if somebody asked you, what do you think is the maximum positive outcome of having a bunch of conversations about politics in a coffee shop, really the maximum positive outcome is that you have a bunch of colleagues whom you respect and who respect you and who form the basis to organize real foundations, real political institutions for veganism. Whether that's, a humble group of maybe 5 vegans who do the paperwork and put some money in a hat and start lobbying, the Board of Education to try to get the egg and dairy messages out of our schools so we stop teaching children that eggs are healthy and milk is healthy. Putting together that could be 5 people who form a tiny nonprofit in Canada, a tiny foundation, or maybe something more grandiose, or something linked to something more broadly participatory, maybe not grandiose. But, I'm trying to publish this children's storybook. So that's going to be an illustrated storybook for children that delivers the message of veganism in a kind of sentimental and interesting way. That's something where YouTube and a larger audience, they could donate to that, they could support that, they could be a part of that project in a sense, a sense very different from the kind of focused, closed door, desk and office work of a lot of forms of lobbying and political activism. So yeah, that's my answer. Great question. And I hope you're still with me. I mean, all you people, I hope you still know me 5 years from now, and I hope I know you 5 years from now, because that is really the strength of social media, is that you build up a sense of rapport and trust, even if it's with just a few hundred people who want to see you succeed personally and politically. And, feelings mutual. For the future of the vegan movement, I really do come out here and try to cooperate with people whom sometimes I have very little in common with. And I hope there are more and more people on the other side who are willing to cooperate with me, maybe even though they feel they have very little in common with me.